Guess what? We're going on a road trip. Well, I'm going on a road trip. I don't know what you're doing, but I'm going on a road trip. Hi, I'm Darcy from the Purposeful Pantry, and I want to be your dehydrating BFF to teach you safe and practical ways to put food on your pantry for your family for whenever you need it. So what I wanted to do is pack a bag ready for me to take that is full of dehydrated fun for me to have for snacks and for meals, ready to go. And I want to take you along as I get these made up to give you some ideas in case you're going to be road tripping it this summer to have snacks for you. So what we've got is I've made up some oatmeal packets with dehydrated goods and things like that I can have for a quick breakfast. Plus I've got snacks like apples. We've done apples and I've done some strawberries because these are two of my favorites. And then I also did something, flavored chickpeas. So these turn out to be little crunchy bites of flavor and goodness. There's protein in them, plus all the fiber. And they're similar to corn nuts, but not really. They're kind of in that same vein as what a corn nut is, but they're better. And they're not so hard on your teeth. So let's go learn how to do these to get ready for your coming up vacations or road trips that you might have this summer, or maybe just for snacks for your kids going to the park. Whatever you need it, let's get busy making them. So what I've done first is rinsed off all of my chickpeas from the cans because I want to get rid of the alfalfa left over, which is something that you can save and use for other means later. A lot of people use it for replacement for egg replacements. So what I'm going to do instead is I am putting this in a large bowl of water, and I want a lot more water than the beans. I don't want just a little bit of water. I want the extra, because what we're going to do right now is allow them some time to soak in this water, and we're going to take this and just rub them gently between your hands. You're going to notice that some of your chickpeas are already broken because that's what happens to a lot of beans when you cook them and then can them or even dehydrate them because the skins have gotten soft. But what we want is to get in here and get rid of those skins, and as that skin comes off, it starts to rise to the top, and it will make this a much easier process to remove the skins for drying than to try to sit and just pick it off each bean at a time. So we're going to let these just soak in here while I prep all the other food, and then we'll get our chickpeas going to get seasoned and ready to go. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is go ahead and core and peel 3 apples. That's just what I'm using because I went and looked what we had in the refrigerator. I did not go buy anything for this project. I'm looking at whatever I've got home that I can do easily and quick to get ready for this. And these apples are just a little bit on the ripe side. So part of what I'm doing is my friends that I'm going on this trip with have been interested in some of what I've been doing for dehydrating. So I've shared a little project every time that I go see them or they come here. So I've given them green powder. I've given them some marshmallows. We did some freeze-dried ice cream sandwiches. I've done lemons for tea. I mean, every time there's always one little kind of treat that I give them. So this time I'm taking some of my dehydrated goods, making some for the family to leave at home, and then taking some with me. So I am just going to go ahead and peel these, and you can see these are getting just a little bit on the ripe side, but it's okay. That means the sugars have developed really well. So like with this Granny Smith, it won't be quite so tart. And I'm not going to worry about the fact that it's a little brown because it's going to dry a little bit that way anyway. It's the oxidation. And these apple pieces are going out to the compost pile after I'm done to feed the garden that feeds us later. So the next thing we're going to do is slice our apples. And if you do not have a mandolin, it's okay. You can do this with a knife. Just be very careful to try to get really good, thin layers that are all about the same. But before I will even touch my mandolin, I'm going to put my safety glove on. This is a must if you're going to use a mandolin to keep from having to make a trip to the emergency room, because that's the last thing I want to do today. I'm going to set up my mandolin, and right here is where you can adjust the depth of the blade. And I want to go to a 3/16 to a 1/4 inch. I'm not doing the thinnest slices because I don't want to do super thin slices because they don't tend to cut very well. So I'm going to do just a 1/4 inch, and I'm going to take my apple and just run it through. And I may not get good solid slices with this because the apples are overly ripe. So you'll see. No, these all came out pretty good. Those are our slices. So these I'm going to leave just like they are. I'm not going to do anything to them. No lemon, no nothing. I'm just going to leave them fine. I'm just going to leave them plain. They may brown a little bit in the dehydrator. I'm fully expecting that. I'm fine with that. It's not going to bother me. I know it's oxidation doesn't mean anything. So I'm just not going to go through the process of trying to cover these up. But I want to leave some plain ones. And then I'm going to do some cinnamon ones. And I'm just going to take a cinnamon shaker and just kind of go over these. Do as much or as little as you want. So there's my apple striped cinnamon apples. So when you do your apples, you do not have to peel them. You can leave them on whole. We do them both ways, but because I'm going to be giving some of these to somebody else, went ahead and peeled them because that can be a texture thing for some people. So I'm doing these for my sons because they will enjoy the kind of difference in flavor of the chili lime seasoning along with that apple. You can play with flavors like crazy when you're doing dehydrating because this just makes things taste so great. And I could have just put a little bit of this in the bowl and run them around, but I wanted to do a light coating of them and not get them overly done because don't want to do that. Okay, so this goes in the dehydrator. All right, next I'm going to cut up some strawberry slices. Typically, we run the gamut of slices to bits to whatever or like chunks a couple weeks ago, and I'll put that video right up here. I worked through some strawberries, and I have strawberry bits like this that are smaller pieces that I use in my oatmeal because they will rehydrate faster that way than big chunks of strawberries for me. So I'll be using this for my oatmeal packets, but I'm doing strawberry slices for snacks to also share around to see what everybody thinks. So I have already washed and let my strawberries drain some. I'm going to cut the tops of this just that, not worry about how much is left over, because this will become strawberry treats for the rabbit that we'll put in the freezer and can take these out, let them thaw, and give her a treat every once in a while because it just makes this go by so much faster for me, and it's not a waste. But if you do strawberry tops like this as well, I have a video right here that can help you with how to use strawberry tops and all the ways that you can do it, and give you some ideas about how you can use strawberry tops if you are doing this kind of quick method of just cutting the tops off and have some extra. Go for it. Now, before I get the rest of these ready, I'm just going to show you really quickly how I slice. I put them on the drop side, on the flat side, drop side. Why did I say that? So I put them on the flat side, and I will just take my fingers and help guide my knife so that I'm getting some really thin slices. I'm looking for almost, gosh, probably not even 1/4 of an inch because I need them to dry fast. So here are my slices. As these have soaked while I've been working on my other food, you can see that the skins are starting to float, and it will make it so much easier to pull those out just like this or with a colander instead of trying to pick up every little bit of skin off of every individual bean. So what you can do if you still have some left is pick them up like this, rub them through your hands. Not so hard that you're going to smush the bean, but you want to put a little pressure on it because you want to work that skin. Now, is it necessary? No, but the skin can be a little more bitter than the rest of the bean, so you might want to do that. And just take a few moments to just run this through. Okay, so I have my bowls here, and you're going to still see some skins in here, but like I said, I am not going to get so picky that I'm going to try to pick them all out. Although I'm talking to you, I'm doing it, but I'm not going to get that fussy with it because one, I just don't have that kind of time, and two, overall, most of them will either dry off and they won't get stuck in the beans as they dry, or I can just kind of brush them off when I'm done. So the first one I'm going to make is some garlic because my husband is a really big fan of garlic anything, so I'm going to do these pretty heavy with garlic. Then I'm going to do the chili lime seasoning, which I can make. I've got a recipe for it on my website, but sometimes it's just easier, especially as fast as my kids seem to do this, eat through it. It's not worth my time to make it. So I am just going to add that here. And then I'm going to do an everything but the bagel seasoning version, which is poppy seeds, garlic, salt, and I forget what the other thing in there is, but we're going to do everything but the bagel and see how that works because I've not tried that one before, so it's a way to try this out. So I'm just going to take my hands because it's fine to do that, and I'm going to just mix these up. So this is going to be the coolest trip I never thought I would get to do, and I am so incredibly excited by it. So I am trying to prepare for making the best of the trip that I can, saving some money by having my own snacks so I don't have to pay for stuff while I'm on the road. And no, I'm not going to use any liners on my trays. I know that these may stain a little bit, but for me, stained dehydrator sheets are a sign of a happy and full pantry. So the cool thing about this trip is that we are going to get to use the giant telescope. It's not just going up and just taking a tour of the building, but we are going to use the giant telescope to look into space, something that most people will never get a chance to do. Okay, so there is our everything but the bagels, and I am keeping these on separate sheets so that I can keep the flavors separate. And you can see as I rub these across the mesh, more of the skin is coming off, and I can just go through here quickly and pull those out. And as I put my last chickpeas on, The coolest thing about this that I didn't tell you about is that we are getting to use the giant telescopes that are in the observatory. That's what part of this was, is that yes, we're going to get to go tour the buildings and see all the stuff, but a thing that the public doesn't typically get to do is go actually use the telescopes. So we are getting that opportunity to look into deep space with these giant telescopes that I cannot tell you how incredibly excited I am about this and that we're getting to do this. Alrighty, so what we have are apples. I went ahead and condensed this tray because I needed the extra tray for the chickpeas. So it's our chili lime Granny Smith and our regular Honey Crisp, then our Honey Crisp with cinnamon, then our, that's the chickpeas, then our strawberries, then our 3 chickpea trays right here. And I am not worried about the flavor transferring from the garlic from here to the strawberries. If I was doing a bunch of just garlic, I would worry, but not this time. These are going to be just fine. So I'm drying it at 132 degrees, which is a little hot for what I typically recommend for strawberries because I like to keep them at the vegetable temperature or lower. But today we're trying to get through these faster, so I'm going to increase the temperature just a little bit to get them to dry faster. And if I need to, I can drop it if I find something's going on with them. So something I did and I forgot to record is after I had been thinking about it, I remember what I wanted to do with the other Honeycrisp apple. I came and took my strawberry powder and sprinkled it on top of my apple. So it's going to be strawberry apple flavored when we're done. So let me give you the gist of what I'm doing. For those of you who've been with me for a while, you might know this, but I am a space geek. I love everything to do about space. I'm really big into astronomy. I always wanted to be an astronaut when I grew up. I love the space program for what it can do for science and furthering human knowledge about things. And so I'm getting a once in a lifetime, no, I'm getting a probably not in your lifetime chance to go to tour some observatories in California. But the kicker of all this is I get to go use one of the big telescopes. There are 2. There's a 100-inch telescope, which is a really big telescope, and a 60-inch telescope, which is also a really big telescope. My telescope is 3.5 inches. These are massive telescopes that look into deep sky to see stuff way out in deep space that I can never see. We're getting a chance to spend an evening and a night using those telescopes with the friends that I'm going with. And it is a never in a lifetime kind of opportunity for me, which I was like, oh yes, please, I will go. Okay, so to get ready for my breakfast, I'm going to start making some oatmeal packs that are quick and easy for me to put together. Just add some hot water to in a cup and I can have breakfast. So I'm going to take half a cup of dry oats, just like this. And what you can do to make this cook a little faster is like take about half of that and put it in a blender or just blend it up with your hands and break it up so that you have the consistency of what you might get in like the little oatmeal packets that you get from the store. I'm not going to do that because these are going to have enough time to cook while I get ready and I can just eat it in the car on the go. So I don't need to worry about that. And I'm just going to use coffee cups that I can get from the kitchen in the hotel that we're staying at. They have a breakfast bar, but it's not a breakfast bar that I want to eat from. So I can take this and then just take my hands and break up some of the oats to help make it cook a little faster. You can do that if you want. That's totally up to you. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do to each of these is add about a tablespoon of ground flaxseed and chia seed. This adds omega-3s, it adds fiber, and it adds protein. So it's a way for me to boost all of that stuff when I need it. So just like that. Then in one of them, I'm also going to add some peanut butter powder. Now I like peanut butter oatmeal with chocolate chips on top because it's a treat. So I'm going to add a little bit of the peanut butter powder. It's not peanut butter protein powder. It's just peanut butter powder instead of having actual peanut butter. That will give me that flavor. And then I'm going to have a few chocolate chips to add to it that I'm going to put in another little baggie. So I'm going to take just a small, not even a quarter cup of chocolate chips. Oops, I'm dropping them out. And this I will sprinkle on top when I'm ready to eat to have a little peanut butter chocolate oatmeal treat. And this will just go right inside this bag and ready for when I'm having breakfast that morning. All right, so on this one, I'm going to take my oatmeal that I created here, and I'm going to take a lot of my strawberry bits. Now, about a quarter cup of this kind of strawberry packed is about a cup of regular strawberries. So I'm going to go a little heavy because I want those vitamins and I want that fiber and I want that flavor in my oatmeal. And I can also add, if I want a little bit more of that strawberry flavor, or if you don't like to eat the bits because you don't like the texture, you can take some of the powder and do the same thing with it. You can just add it to it. I'm not going to add much because I've got all the strawberries in there, but that is something you can also do, because some people don't necessarily like the texture of rehydrated fruit. It doesn't get soft enough for them, so the powder is a way you can get the flavor and the fiber without the texture. So there is my strawberry oatmeal. For as far as storing this fruit in a Ziploc bag, which I typically say never do because this is not air tight, it's air permeable. For the short amount of time that this is going to be in here, it's not an issue. I wouldn't store it this way, but to take it on a small trip, it's just fine. I'm going to do apple cinnamon. That's apple cranberry for it. So I've got some dried cranberries here that I do at home. And these were freeze dried, but you can do this with dried cranberries too, because I do it all the time. I just happened to test out the freeze dryer last year with cranberries, but I typically always have dried cranberries sitting at the house. So there's about a half a cup, maybe almost a quarter cup, close to it. And then I'm going to add some apples into it as well. And then if I wanted to, which I'm going to also add a little bit of cinnamon. Now this looks like that's a lot of fruit, but this is going to be the meal that I have in the morning, and I won't be eating for a while after that, except for snacking. So this is going to be something that helps tide me over. I'm going to vacuum seal this back up in just a bit. Now this might look like a lot of fruit, but you know, if I have 2 pieces of fruit during the day, this is one of them at least, and then I can have some later in the day for snacking to make sure that I get the fiber in that I need while I'm on the trip. So it's not really that bad. So what I have is cranberry apple, cinnamon, then the strawberry oatmeal, and then the peanut butter and chocolate chip. If you would like to see like a whole range of these done for like maybe back to school, let me know in the comments below that you'd like to see more of these happening. I am ready to go with oatmeal on the go. So here are our cinnamon apples, and what you don't want to do is test this as soon as you pull it out of the tray, out of the machine, because it's going to be soft because of the heat. So you just give it some time to cool off, just a few minutes. There are strawberries, and yeah, some of the everything but the bagel seasoning didn't stick, and it's going to be fine. It's not going to stick to the strawberries. Here are the first of our chickpeas, and you'll see here they did break, but that's what they do after they've been cooked and canned like that. It doesn't affect them at all. Here you go. Those are our garlic. And then these are the chili lime seasoning. Sorry, there's not enough there. Okay, so the strawberries. If you're doing strawberries, and even if you've turned them, you find they've stuck because it's like I have to actually pry them off, you can just roll your mesh and it will pop right off. Just like that. Which is why I know a lot of people have issues them sticking to their trays, and it's like, don't put these directly on a tray. Put something in there that will serve as a liner. Whether you're going to use mesh, which is I use for everything, whether you use fruit leather sheets, which you need to make sure you're flipping these quite a bit for that, or whether you use parchment paper, or whether you use cloth, whatever you use, make sure you use something on your tray line, on your trays, so that they don't stick to the trays, because sometimes that will be bad. And I am taking all of them. The boys don't get to have these. These are mine. So these will be ready for me to have in the car as a snack for when I get a little peckish and we're not ready to go stop someplace yet. There we go. So for my trip, which one was which? Boys, beans, oh, my beans. My strawberries. There are my apples, and then here are my breakfast, my oatmeal packets ready for breakfast. And I'm doing them in this giant bag because what I can do is at TSA I can just pull this out and put it on in the bin and let it go through, and that way there is no question about what I'm bringing. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and make it easier on me. So I'll have this, I'll have my electronics bag, and I'll have my toiletries bag. Pull them out quickly, throw them on, throw them back in my backpack, and I'm ready. So I hope this gives you some great ideas for your road trip. And if you want to see more videos on how to make some snacks, watch this right here. I'll teach you how to make the easiest fruit leather ever. That's perfect for your kids' picnic snacks, or maybe going to VBS, or if they're going to summer school or whatever. These are easy to make, easy to store, and they will make your kids so happy at lunch. And there'll be some other ones along with it. So until I see you again next time, happy dehydrating. look to the skies, and I'll see you next time. But be good while I'm gone, okay?